A quick video review of my SaberForge Relic. This is part of my second main site SaberForge order, and certainly the largest, most unwieldy hilt I own. I think maybe not the longest, but it's one of their two crossguard sabers alongside the Templar. I've got it in the hero tier with the weathered exterior and with a 12 watt plus red LED. The hero tier comes with a different soundboard to the champion tiers, which are all the ones I've reviewed so far. Those are the Crimson and Viridian soundboards. I believe it's the Spark Color 2 or something along those lines. It can have 5 or 6 different sound fonts. I haven't done any customizing with the sound fonts yet. This is currently loaded one of the default ones up, mainly just to show off the Saber. I'll mess around with the sound fonts on my own later. So if we get into the Saber, obviously it's cross-guarded and it is massive. It's very hard to see on video, but it's huge. If we start at the pommel, we have this very sort of big and imposing looking pommel, sort of like a fancy sword pommel, if anything, but a little bit bigger and sharper. Obviously it is vented for sound. I don't know if we can see in there, not so much on camera. Oh well. We have a sort of grenade section style grip, very nice to grip, not too sharp at all. The bits down here on the pommel I didn't mention are a little bit sharp, so if you do end up with one of these sabers, just watch out for those. We have this switch section here with these two sort of rounded rectangles there, and then the switch section is smooth on the back, leading into the crossguard section. So we have this this sort of crossguard shroud that holds it all together here, with these two horizontal sort of grooves in them on both the front and on the back. If we move to one of the crossguard section sort of arms, we have these huge imposing and evil looking spikes on the side, and then the emitter itself, which does in these grooves here have emitter windows. A little hard to see without the blade being active, I'll admit. And then you can see the blade plug in there. The other side's entirely identical. And then moving up to the larger emitter for the main blade, it does again have these vertical emitter windows, and in there is the blade plug. So without further ado, I'm going to go ahead and turn it on. Being a hero tier, it does come with the staggered ignition, similar to in the film in Episode 7 and in Star Wars Rebels when Ezra turns on the old crossguard, the ancient one. So if we go ahead and do that, we can see the lovely emitter windows and the 12 watt plus red color, as well as that staggered ignition. So I've got it on one of the sort of more evil sounding sound fonts that are loaded by default. I can't remember the name of it, but it really does fit the hilt very well, although I will at some point be looking for some customized sound fonts to fit into the SD card. It's a little hard on this camera to go over the full capabilities of the soundboard, but as you can see here, the whole thing's controlled with these two buttons. These are separate. The top button is the activation button, and the bottom button is the secondary button. If you press it once, you'll get a blaster deflect, and if while clashing the hilt you press it, you get a blade lockup. It's a little hard to trigger, but it does work most definitely. So you hear a blaster deflection sort of sound there, and no, I didn't quite get that to work. Excuse me. There we go. And there's the blade lockup with, I'm not sure if it shows up too well on camera, but there is a noticeable flicker to the light when that happens, and the same with a clash. There is a noticeable flicker to the blade color, although it is a little hard to detect on camera, as I say. So I'll go ahead and turn that off while I put some blades in. Obviously this is going to take a little longer than usual, being that there are 3 of them as opposed to just the one. As I say, it's a huge hilt really. rather unwieldy, I have to say. Not the sort of thing I'd choose to go dueling with if I were to engage in that sort of thing. However, it is, excuse me, it is a very, very nice hilt in terms of its aesthetic. It is gorgeous and incredibly imposing, which is obviously what was, in the designer's head when this was made. It was made to be evil and imposing, in my opinion, and one of the few hilts that I prefer the weathering on, honestly. I'm not overly keen on SaberForge's weathering, but on this hilt, I think it really, really fits. Absolutely goes perfectly with this saber. Excuse me, I can't seem to get the blade plug out. It is a little snug on ragged ignition properly. So there you can see it, lovely and deep red with that growling hum of the soundboard in the background. And if I just pull the camera out, you can properly see the red blade there, and the sort of size of the hilt I think is apparent even on camera. There's also that lovely glow that you can see, the change in the glow of the blades is a feature of this soundboard as well, in as far as I'm aware, at least. Which is nice. It's nice to have those extra features from the champion tier stuff. The Viridian and Crimson soundboards are nice as a basic sound package, but they don't do too much for the other functions of a lightsaber, like that ambient glow, other sounds, anything like that. And this one does have the advantage of having both blaster deflection sounds and blade lockup, whereas the other two, they're exclusive. However, I can't complain about the other soundboards. This is just a nicer feature if you do happen to have the money there. I'm pretty sure I've covered everything I have to say. It's certainly, for me at least, more of a display piece than a thing to be wielded. It's a little hard to move about. I'm not the strongest person in the world, and it is a hefty hilt. But it is certainly an imposing and awesome display piece, indeed. That about wraps everything up. Thank you very much for watching, and until next time, may the Force be with you.